We went out about 42 miles yesterday, got our limited red grouper. I thought I would do a fish head soup. So Warren and I are gonna clean these fish heads up. We'll take the gills out and then we'll remove the wings, and then we'll get it all rinsed up and all the slime removed off of it, so it makes a really nice clean fish broth. By cutting the gills out, and we can remove the gills by cutting in here, starting to remove it like this. Just follow it down and around. Get through some of this stuff. Now we just released the throat from the gill section, and now we're just gonna pull the gills. All the gills came out in one shot. We'll put it in our bucket to go feed the fish across the street. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the wings, the grouper wings. You know, all this stuff people just normally throw away. It's such a waste. So it's delicious, good meat that provides 1, 2, maybe even more meals. It's not pretty. It does take some extra work, but in the end, it's so worth it. Off the fish, and then we'll clean these. This here to me is the best part of the grouper. It's the grouper wings. I'll go ahead and finish prepping the wings. Do this by removing this white membrane that's on the inside here. Simply, we're just going to skin it off. And look at all of that delicious white, perfectly good meat that normally, unfortunately, gets tossed aside. Flip it over, and I like taking off the fins. I've always heard that we should. Don't really know why, but so I just do it. Other thing you gotta do is get the scales off. Not all of them, but just try to clean it up a bit. And this small work, a fork. We're trying to get as much of this palate off that we can. Again, I've done it in the past. I've just been told to do it, so that's what we do. So we're just doing a last bit of a cleanup on here, getting any of the dark blood out of it. Just makes for a cleaner broth as we go and cook this down. Trying to get all this white. The kind of deer this would be called this like the silver skin. So I just want to get rid of all of that. See, it hides certain organs and veins that we don't want in our soup. So now I'll go ahead and hose it out. All right, so here we have, we got 2 grouper heads. We got the spine of one, and we got 4 wings. We make our broth. So we have our mirepoix, onions, peppers, carrots, celery, parsley. Of course, we have our fish that we cleaned earlier. And we have some good white wine. We'll just put it all into the pot, and then we're gonna go ahead and simmer it down. Got a little bit of oil, just heat it up a little bit. I like to get my veggies a little bit of a saute before we put the rest of the stuff in there. Go ahead with our fish parts and pieces. Got our 2 heads. We got our grouper wings that Warren and I cleaned. And we got our rib sections and backbones. All of this is going to make some delicious awesome fish head soup. Of course, wait for it, listen for it. Yes, the sound of happiness. We'll cover the rest of the water, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer. All right, so our fish head soup has just come to a boil. We'll turn it down to a simmer, and we'll just let it go and develop some good flavors. So we've been simmering for quite a while now, about, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now we're just taking the fish parts out, and I'm cleaning all the good stuff up and putting it in our meat pile. And then taking all the bones out, skin off. It's coming together.
Is Roar's screen lock up?
No. Getting ready to put our fish head soup together. Got some beautiful looking royal reds from neighbor Gino. Thanks a lot. And here are all the stuff that Warren and I are going to be cutting up. We got some potatoes, Swiss chard, carrots, corn, onion, plantains, and there's the broth that we made. So let's see how it all goes. Alright, so I just added our bay leaves, some crushed red pepper, and some thyme. Go ahead and add some salt. I'll salt it more later. It just kind of helps get the vegetables soft. And for my 2 habaneros in there, leave them whole to get some flavor and not too much heat. And garlic to get those going. Last one. Let's cook this down just for another minute till it gets soft. And then we'll add the rest of our vegetables in our broth. Go ahead and add our tomato paste. Just give it a little color, a little depth of flavor. I can work that in. Still just sweating down our vegetables. Building layers, building flavor. Can you smell it? Oh, it smells delicious. All right. We got the rest of our vegetables, our potatoes that are cut. We're gonna add those. Swiss chard that's been chiffonade nicely by sous chef Diane. Corn that's been cut up. Just get all this in the pot. Let it heat up slowly, and we'll go ahead and add our broth in there. Give my vegetables a nice toss, moving them all around. Look at those colors. It's gonna be so good. All right, so now our vegetables have sauteed a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and put in our fish head broth that Warren and I made. Plantains here, they've been soaking in salt water. We rinsed them off. Dried them. Might be a little water on them still, so we're just going to be careful that they don't pop everywhere. Just give them a quick fry, and then they'll be added to our soup. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our plantains to the soup as this is coming up to a boil. And let all this stuff boil for a few minutes until the potatoes and the corn are done, and then we can add our shrimps and grouper meat. So our vegetables are almost done cooking. Now I'm going to add the zest and juice of this one lemon just to brighten everything up. All right, so our vegetables have finished cooking mostly, and Brought it down back to a simmer, and now we're gonna add all of this fresh grouper. This is all the meat that we got from the wings, the head, and we peeled it all yesterday. Now we're just gonna put it all in here, get it warmed up, and then at the last minute, we'll put these beautiful royal reds in there. All right, so we just put our royal red shrimps in there. We're gonna just let it simmer. Really, it's only gonna take about 2 minutes to cook those, and they're ready for what we've been waiting for. Try this out. Stew is now done. Go ahead and dish it up. You can see it's a hearty soup here. Got our potatoes, plantains, carrots, all that grouper meat. Of course, we got the royal red. Throw a carrot in there. Finish it off with just a little squeeze of lime. There it is. We'll do a taste test. See how it tastes. Well worth it. Why would you ever throw away fish heads or grouper wings when you can make this? Delicious. What was that, sous chef D?
Delicious.
Delicious.